And I call the member for
The last bit I did, yes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the Combat Sports Amendment Bill 2024. The bill provides improvements to the regulation of combat sports while also ensuring that we are promoting combat sports and making it simpler for industry. I just need to clarify at the outset that I will not be part of the tag team match from Western Sydney, accompanying the member for Blacktown, but I do look forward to seeing the Minister for Sports carrying that flag on my behalf. No problem. Speaker, one of the objects of the Combat Sports Act is to promote the development of the combat sports industry. While we are deeply committed to improving the safety of participants, we are equally committed to ensuring that we have a thriving combat sports sector, making a valuable contribution to New South Wales. The government has ensured that this bill contains provisions to improve the operations of the Act and regulation and to simplify requirements for the sector where possible. One example of this is to allow corporations to apply for registration as promoters and managers. A benefit of this change is that it will facilitate sporting organisations being able to register as promoters and facilitate more regional contests, which may be seen as less commercially viable or profitable. But it is in the interests of promoting the sports, and if they can happen in regional areas, those areas would benefit greatly. Previously, this was dependent on individuals needing to step up and act as the promoter, but also to take on that individual risk. With these amendments, sports organisations will be able to register as promoters and host contests without the pressure falling on any one individual. Another example of our commitment to making things better for the sector is the public register. The public register will ensure that any interested person, including promoters and matchmakers, can search for whether a combatant is eligible to compete and build a fight card without needing to contact the authority to check the status of a combatant. The public register will reduce the administrative burden for the authority while enhancing the convenience for those organising the contests. Speaker, this bill will also facilitate former professional combatants being able to seek approval to compete in amateur contests. This ensures that some of our best athletes are able to represent Australia at the Olympics and compete in qualifying contests here in New South Wales. One more important reform to simplify requirements for the sector is the merging of the trainer and second registration classes into a single class of registration called trainer. Speaker, when developing these amendments, we have, wherever possible, tried to minimise the regulatory impact to continue to support the combat sports sector. Importantly for me, our commitment to safety in this bill is clear, but this government has clearly demonstrated our commitment to attracting major events, including combat sports events, to New South Wales. Our commitment to bringing the UFC and the exposure of the hundreds of millions of people who follow it to New South Wales is evident through our recent partnership. In September 2023, UFC 293 was held in front of a sellout crowd with huge global exposure. The event was a resounding success and showcased New South Wales to a global audience. This government will continue to promote and support the combat sports sector while ensuring it remains as safe as possible for all competitors. Speaker, this bill strikes the balance successfully and will not only protect competitors but also reduce the admin burden on the sector. The combat sports are regulated in New South Wales as they are in most Australian jurisdictions and many jurisdictions around the world due to the inherent risk to the participants. Combat sports are regulated to ensure there are appropriate safety measures in place to minimise the risk to participants wherever possible. The Combat Sports Authority of New South Wales regulates the sports in accordance with the Combat Sports Act 2013 and the Regulation 2014 and the authority rules made under Section 107 of the Act. The objectives of the Act are very clear: to promote the health and safety of combat sport contestants, promote the integrity of the combat sports contests themselves, and regulate the combat sports contests on a harm minimisation basis, and promote the development of the combat sport industry. The purpose of a public register is to improve the matchmaking process, reduce red tape and streamline the fight card development process. The bill will allow the authority to make public, thorough and electronic public register details for all registered people, including their name, registration class and expiry dates. For participants, this will include a date to which they are eligible to compete. It means promoters and matchmakers will not need to contact the authority, as I've previously covered, and rather than sending an email and needing to wait for responses or needing to call during business hours, they'll be able to build a fight card at any time. The current method of preparing a fight card is laborious and time-consuming. Making this information public will make the lodgement of fight cards simpler and improve the regulation of combat sports. During the authority's review, it was raised that other jurisdictions around the world allow professionals to compete in the Olympics and Commonwealth Games. However, in New South Wales, this was prohibited. This provision allows the authority to register former professional combatants in amateur classes and determine guidelines for that process. This will ensure that these combatants looking to qualify for an Olympic or Commonwealth Games that have previously turned professional are able to compete for our country. During the consultation on the exposure draft of the bill, we received submissions from 12 individuals involved in the combat sports sector, raising a range of issues. These matters raised will be considered as part of the remaking of the regulation and rewriting of the authority rules in 2024. Consultation occurred with New South Wales government agencies, including New South Wales Treasury and New South Wales Police Force. During the legislative drafting process, the Office of Sport consulted with New South Wales Police, New South Wales Civil and Administrative Tribunal and Department of Communities and Justice on relevant provisions. The Information and Privacy Commissioner was also consulted related to amendments regarding the public register. The authority, supported by the Office of Sport, consulted extensively with industry to develop their recommendations to the government. This included discussions with promoters, peak bodies, officials, medical personnel and the participants themselves. During the second phase of the review, the authority conducted surveys, held workshops with stakeholders and completed a survey of other regulators to develop the recommendations proposed to government. There is a general agreement and support across the industry for these proposed reforms. There were several reforms suggested by the authority that have not been included in this round of amendments, but are supported by government. This includes the consideration of matchmaking guidelines and a tiered risk-based industry framework. Both these recommendations require further policy development and consultation and will be considered for future amendment. The Combat Sports Regulation 2014 is also due to be remade. It is anticipated that this will occur in 2025 once the amendments that have been made into regulation have commenced on proclamation following passage of the bill. The combat sports sector and the public will be consulted during the regulation remake process. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.
The question is